thanks for listening. This is Brian Hurley from Business Performance Improvement. The podcast Lean Six Sigma Bursts are short lessons, comments, Q&A, and insights. If you have a question, send your question through the Anchor app, and we might feature you on a future episode. Or contact me at biz-pi.com. In this podcast, I share a clip from the book chapter I wrote for Lean Six Sigma for Good, Lessons from the Gemba, Volume 1. The chapter was called Applying Lean Six Sigma to a Nonprofit Fundraiser Conference. I explain how I used risk management methods to reduce the chance of problems when planning my first fundraising conference. By the way, this entire podcast was spoken by AI using text-to-speech from 11 Labs from the words I wrote. I uploaded samples of my voice from some of my training classes, and it created this AI voice. The technology is getting really good, so I wanted to test it out to see what you thought. I'll include a link to the book, an article I wrote about a shortened version of FMEAs, and a link to 11 Labs to learn more about this AI technology. Part 3, Mitigating the Risk of Problems. Another powerful tool of Six Sigma is called Failure Modes and Effects Analysis, or FMEA. It is used to identify the risk of something going wrong and mitigate the risk to reduce the chance of it actually happening. It is often used to prevent new product designs from running into problems during the manufacturing process, or when the product is being used by the end customer. However, this was a perfect tool to use in this situation, especially since it was our first time planning an event. I was really nervous that I was overlooking something that would become an issue during the event. I really wanted this event to be a great success. However, I did not want to perform a full FMEA, where you go through every single step and prioritize each risk based on severity, occurrence, and detection. Over the years of teaching, facilitating, and promoting the use of FMEAs, I have found that many people like the idea of the tool, but are scared off about the time commitment required. I completely understand, as I didn't have a lot of time either, since this is all being done on volunteer time. I've developed an approach to ease into FMEAs. The idea is that you start simple by just having a discussion with others in your team and simply ask, what are some of the risks? As you brainstorm the risks, you discuss how well prepared you are for these risks. This exercise will help you determine if you feel comfortable with the potential risks or not, and decide if you should go deeper into your risk assessment. If you realize that there are more risks than you thought, then the next step I recommend is to walk through the full process all the way as the customer, in this case the conference attendee, to see what their experience might be as currently set up. First, they're going to sign up on the website, then decide how to pay, receive an electronic ticket as confirmation, travel to the event location on event day using different transportation methods, walk to the event entrance, look for signage on where to go, check in, and find a place to sit. As we talked through these steps, many questions came up. Do we have directions to the event? Do they know where to park? Do they need to bring their ticket? Was the event entrance easy to find? Do they need a name tag? Do they want something to eat or drink? Are they going to want to take notes during the event? How do they find and get into their seats? Will the aisles be spaced in a way to make it easy to get into their seats? Finally, we tried answering these questions and discussed ways we could mitigate the potential problem. As an example for the seating problem, I anticipated that people would come in later, and this would make it easier for them to quietly sit at the edges of the rows. What normally happens is that the open seats are often in the middle of a row, and people are climbing over each other and creating a distraction. To mitigate the seating problem that I've experienced at other conferences, I created a PowerPoint slide that was rotating at the beginning that would remind people to move to the center of the seating. I also encouraged people to introduce themselves to their neighbors so they would be more comfortable sitting next to each other. In Figure 2 in the book, we show the slide that was presented to attendees to encourage better seating arrangements. Let me pause for a moment to tell you about our sponsor, Creative Safety Supply. Creative Safety Supply is a great resource for free guides, infographics, and continuous improvement tools. I recommend starting with their 5S guide. It includes breakdowns of the 5 pillars, ways to begin implementing 5S, and even organization tips and color charts. From red tags to floor markings, it's all there. Download it for free at creativesafetysupply.com/5S. We didn't have as many people show up as we were planning for, so it didn't end up being as big of a problem as I expected. A quick glance at the seating arrangement showed mixed results with the sign, so a future improvement would be to remind people during the event to move to the center. We also thought about the speaker experience, not just the conference attendee. Where will they be standing? What digital format will they use for their presentations? Are they going to engage the audience? After we brainstormed the questions for our risk discussion, the next decision was whether the questions and answers we came up with made us feel comfortable with the event planning so far, or raised a lot of red flags and concerns. If it raised some serious questions and concerns, then it might justify performing a full FMEA. A full FMEA would require us to go step by step through the process and brainstorm every potential failure we could think of and score the risks from highest to lowest in order to prioritize what to work on. This takes a while to complete, but for large and important events, it might be worth the effort. For our event, we felt good about the answers we had, so we didn't feel that a full FMEA was necessary. We simply listed out the questions and the mitigation we were going to take for each risk. Here are a couple examples. Number 1, projector doesn't work or dies during event. Mitigation: bring second projector as backup. Number 2, credit card payment device doesn't work due to poor internet connection. Mitigation: bring 3 devices and phones as backup. Number 3, presentation is hard to see on white screen due to the contrast and lighting in the room. Mitigation: arrive early to test and adjust lighting in room. Number 4, room gets too hot due to number of people. Mitigation: set up fans near exits if weather looks to be warm and we have full attendance. Number 5, attendees only have cash and want change. Mitigation: withdraw $50 in $1 bills and bring to event. Skipping ahead, I felt like we did a great job overall with the event. There weren't any major hiccups, so I feel like we addressed or avoided many of the risks we identified, or some of them never came to fruition. The only thing we didn't consider as a failure was not having the speaker show up. We had no mitigation plan for that. Luckily, everybody showed up as expected, but that was something that we need to have a mitigation plan for next year. We also didn't have a place for the speakers to sit, which was minor, but an improvement we can make next year. Obviously, small things came up that we didn't anticipate, but I think overall the event went pretty smoothly, so I think we did the right amount of risk assessment.
Whether you work in a manufacturing company, at a hospital, within a government agency, or volunteer at a nonprofit organization or NGO, continuous improvement is necessary and essential. For the past 25 years, I've been helping organizations implement Lean and Six Sigma methods into their culture. And I've compiled all this knowledge into the 7 best practices that are essential to any organization. If you sign up with your email, you will receive a link to the YouTube video, you will receive an audio podcast, and a summary document you can download. The video takes less than 30 minutes to listen to, and it will help you fully leverage the power of these methods and ensure your organization has a solid improvement culture and foundation. Go to biz-pi.com and look for the 7 continuous improvement best practices document.